you say if I said that I could bring them back?
I guess I'd say I never thought of that.
Well, alright, hold tight, you might wanna stand back, because one small John is coming intact.
St. John forward, spitting out some more words, fully intact, jacked, ready to rap and attack. Small John on your lawn, living like a gnome, hit you with my lyrics like a bullet to your dome.
Tonight when he comes up here, he's either gonna kill or he's gonna suck. But there's no in between for Mr. John Forward.
And what better introduction to the show than an hour-long genocide special? Welcome to St. John Forward Radio. Happy Canada Day, I guess. That's technically what this is. The 2 or 3 songs that we'll be playing in the show will be Canadian, but that'll be the extent of the Canada Day programming that goes into tonight's program. Saying program too much. Should have used the old thesaurus.com to fix that up. Anyway, it is a day that is special to me, but nothing to do with Canada, and we'll get into that with my guest later. But first, I'm back in the country after a recent trip to New York to see the Skankfest comedy special with R.F. Hussein. You heard our pre-trip radio show last week. We recorded some stuff for throughout the journey there, so that's released in 4 parts on the podcast feed, the New York Chronicles parts 1 through 4. You can get that at johnforward.podbean.com. I did not listen to or edit them for content, some sound production overall, but don't know what was said. Probably too spicy for the radio. And we were overtaken with Skankfest toxic masculinity, so that certainly didn't help. So anyway, that's a podcast exclusive. We did end up having a flight delay and an extra day in the city that we didn't cover in the New York Chronicles, but I'll have RF back to do a post-trip appearance sometime in the next few weeks. I've been on vacation since the 20th and don't go back to work until next week, which has been nice, but I've been busy with trip and all. This will be my first week with some real time off. I did get some comedy work done. I had a show lined up at Club Chrome in Fredericton this coming Friday, but that was supposed to be a first run through of my upcoming Fringe Festival show, Cigarettes and Cool Ranch, but it got canceled. Family issues with the promoter will be rescheduled at some date in the future, but that doesn't help me out for practice. Is your headphones not working?
Yeah, but they're really loud. I can't turn them down.
Whatever knob is next to where it's plugged in there.
Yeah, but if I turn it down anymore, it's off completely.
Okay, well, we'll sort it out on the break. So anyway, that was supposed to be a first run through for the show. So postponing to the fall doesn't help me out. So I've put together a backup show. But I've been working on the individual pieces of the thing for a while, but I want to get some time in doing the full hour. So I tried to send a message to the guy that does the Wilsers Room. No response. He probably didn't see it. We're not friends on Facebook, so it's in his other inbox limbo probably. But I figured rather than putting something together ourselves and having to deal with the promotion and all that stuff from out of town, I reached out to Lori with the Canadian Mental Health Association about putting together a fundraiser show at the Grimross in Fredericton. I've done a few of those Oh Me Nerves shows before, and always a good audience, and they seem to like me. So it's a fundraiser, so no money, but I'd rather do a good show for free than put on a lame show and make $20. So anyway, that's going to be at the Grimross in Fredericton on Saturday, August 3rd, New Brunswick Day long weekend. Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, attendance-wise, but anyway, had to have a theme, so 3 funny guys in a car is what it is. The other funny guys in a car will be R.F. Hussein and Brian Godso. I've also got a show lined up Friday, July 26th in Bathurst at Studio 2 to run the hour. That should be a good one. unfortunately, I got tickets for the Impact Music Festival in Bangor the next day, so it's supposed to start at noon. I'm not going to get there for noon, but it's going to be a long day in the car on Saturday after the show, so no hanging out and getting hammered afterwards. I do have a couple of on-camera home basement practices under my belt, which is better than nothing. But anyway, it gives me a chance to watch it and make some changes. It keeps getting a little bit better and better each time that I watch it. It's still too long, though. Making some hard cuts. The two live shows isn't a whole lot, but that's two more than I got to do with Honey Garlic, which I was happy with and considered a success. But listening back to the tape, it could have used some more polish. So having these two chances in front of an actual comedy audience will be good. Now the other thing I've been thinking about, like a lot of people like the Honey Garlic show, but it was very personal and kind of sad and tragic. Cigarettes and Cool Ranch is more of a straight comedy show than a one-man show, as much as I'm capable of. My comedy isn't too far off from that, but this one I think will be funnier, but won't have quite the same level of emotional vulnerability, which is the thing that I excel at. But I don't know. I don't know if the fancy theater people who may have liked that kind of thing may not like this one as much. This one might be more for the comedy people. Who knows? But it'll be an interesting challenge to see how I make out without the childhood trauma crutch to lean on. Succeed or fail. It's probably going to have a pretty good poster. At least I can say that. Still waiting for some official festival logos to come through, but a poster's pretty much done. I like the cartoony Honey Garlic poster from last year that was made by Spectrum and Son, but unfortunately he was not available to do it this year. The cartoony one last year, as good as it was, didn't really fit the tone of the show. The new one that I had some friends help me with the photo taking and the Photoshop, but it was my design and I'm happy with it, and I think it's more reflective of the show. But anyway, that's coming up at the end of August. And it's Canada Day now, which I feel like I'm in a bit of a weird position because I don't know if anybody is stuck around after the Genocide Hour, but they've had Indigenous content from 7 a.m. till midnight today, except for 1 hour of Democracy Now! And an episode of St. John Forward Radio, which is an odd mix. The reason for this is because of the, quote, inherent problematic nature of Canada Day festivities, which I'm not entirely sure what that means, but I can guess from the context. There was one righteous fellow who hit reply all to that email from the radio station. Make sure to let everybody know that he identifies as being part of a particular tribe and loves to see the representation and would be happy to volunteer. His name was not on today's schedule. But anyway, took everything it had in me not to take a screenshot and reply all with like an X through the reply all button and a check mark on the reply. I settled for a quiet eye roll, and now this. But anyway, I think patriotism is dumb, but that's probably not what they're getting at. But Canada Day for me is a celebration of my anniversary with my dear wife Mei, who's sitting across. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Honey,
How
baby?
are you? Is
Good.
my mic on? I never
Yeah.
feel like it's on.
It's on.
Okay.
I'm not silencing your voice.
You better not be.
Well, not on this. Never
Most
mind.
special day.
It is. So you having a good Canada / anniversary day so far?
I'm loving it.
Well, that's just fantastic.
We got to do everything I wanted to do.
Well, I guess we can talk about that when we get into it. But it's time for a musical break.
Oh, good.
What do we got? Let's do some Grifting by Timber Timbre, and then we'll be back with.
That's not Canadian.
Yes, it is.
They're Canadian?
Yes.
No way.
Yeah. Oh. Totally, dude.
Wow.
touches, pushing, pulling, punches, ragged, bluffing lunches, pulling off a fast one, riffing off the last one, reeling in the big one, fished in, grifting, faking it to make it, never give, but take it, building trust through kindness to exploit the finest walls and bridges, burning time and table turning, double dipping, earning, lifted, grifting. It's cheese and money, for what it's worth. You're the brainchild, gifted at birth. Wasted poker faces, smoking mirrored places, sleight of hand and waveless, vanish, gone and traceless, pilfering the nation, dazzling the patron, milking fascination, pitching, pinching, grifting. Keeping off the radar, ripping off what they are. House of gilded swindlers, brick by brick, unbuilt and grift. The true believer, grifter, great achiever, grifter, great deceiver, grifting. It's season money, for what it's worth. You're the brainchild, gifted at birth.
We're back celebrating to the glorious anniversary of the union of John Forward and May Caldwell, sort of. It's our 13th anniversary. Technically a few days
Lucky
later.
13.
Yep.
Baby.
So we had a nice anniversary day adventure. Do you want to tell us about it?
Yeah, we went to the Hopewell Rocks.
And how long?
I've
it
never
feels
been
like
there.
you've been talking about it for many years now.
13 years.
Has it been that long?
I've always wanted to go.
How come we never went before?
I don't know, because
I never
we're
said
always
no.
weird. But even last night I was being weird about it. I was like, oh, maybe we shouldn't go. Because I don't know. I just didn't know what it was going to be like. And if I don't know what it's going to be like, I get all weirded out. So maybe I could tell people what it's like.
What is the worst case scenario of what it would have been like that it would have been a problem?
Know. I really don't know. I don't know what the worst case would have been.
One of them fall down on top of us, maybe?
Yeah,
the erosion friendly, that little girl that was like trying to pick rocks out of the solid wall.
Who, me?
No, there was
You mean me?
You were doing that?
No, I
Unbelievable.
wasn't.
There was 1,000 rocks on the ground. But
Yeah. No, I was scared to get too close to it.
No, there was one
'Cause
girl that kept trying to like wrench
Don't
them
do
out
that.
of the solid rock.
No, that's a bad idea.
Maybe she pulled out the like the load bearing pebble and
She
the whole
might
thing
have.
come
We
down.
won't even know till tomorrow. No, it was good. There was a little shuttle that you could take, and it would take you down.
Yeah, we made one walk all the way down.
Yeah.
And after having seen it, and my feet are still blistered from New York.
I know. Oh, I didn't realize that.
That was fine.
I thought it was from your boots.
Well, the rubber boots are these boots weren't made for walking.
You're like lobster boat boots.
Yeah. Yeah, they could probably use an insole. And it was better once I tucked my pants into the boots.
Yes.
That noise that you heard all the way down was them slapping against my bare leg every time I took a step.
Why weren't you wearing long socks? I guess you
I don't have knee-high socks.
Why not? What's wrong with you?
What for? I don't
Your-
play soccer.
For your leg slaps.
Well, for the amount of time that I wear rubber boots, I'll keep that in mind. The pants didn't need to be on the outside. I was thinking, like, if it was pouring rain, you don't want the rain to run down your leg into the boot. But it was
That's a good
a
point.
sprinkle. It wasn't ideal.
I had my ducky boots. I was happy that I get to wear them.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
But not the nicest day. I wonder, was it nice all day in St. John? It was nice when we left, and it was nice when we came back.
I think it was.
Pretty miserable.
I think it was
at the,
sunny here.
The Hopewell
Yeah,
Rocks.
it was rainy. Rainy at the rocks.
Not pouring though. Enough to speckle up my glasses with drops of water.
Me too.
And
I'd rather that than really hot though.
I don't know what your problem is with hot.
Hot's like I get all upset. I don't like it. I'm not used to it. I've never lived anywhere that's been a hot place.
Well, you're gonna have fun in Las Vegas. It's gonna be. I went in October or November, and it was blazing
Well,
hot.
I'm going in October.
Yeah, it was still uncomfortably hot.
I don't like that.
Well, that's the price you pay. So
For what?
for having a good time,
For having fun.
for having hot times in hot places.
For two non-drinker, non-gamblers going to Las Vegas.
Yeah, I was there for a week. I didn't gamble.
three. There's three of us.
I drank one night out of the several that we were there, and I spent $2 on a VLT.
Wow.
So
I'll probably try something. Just for funsies.
yeah. Well,
Not a drink, a gamble.
could I suggest dropping acid and sitting on the road and
You
talking
can't.
to strangers? That's what I did.
That's my worst nightmare. That's
was
not
fun.
a thing I'll be doing.
It was fun.
I'm glad I didn't know that you did that until after it was done.
I didn't know I was going to do it until I was doing it.
Good, excellent.
It wasn't a pre-planned.
I would have been
That
so
was
upset.
that was an in the moment classic John Forward decision.
Yeah.
that paid off in spades. So we don't know what your horrifying Bad's version of the Hopewell
I don't know.
Rocks.
I can't
Why
even
don't you
tell
tell us more about what your actual delightful version was?
Well, that we get to see them. I like the ocean anyway and water just to look at it. And I also really like absurd situations. And there was a band playing Summer of '69 under a tent when it was like pouring rain, and all these tourists milling around, and it was very funny, I thought.
Yeah,
That's
and terrible stage banter.
Well, I
he
mean-
spent about 5 minutes rambling something about how I don't know if the people are gonna be into this, but like setting it up like he was gonna take a huge risk, and that his roommate was like, "Do it, man! You got to do it! You got to play this song." I don't know. Oh. And then he played American Pie by
The old
Don McLean.
The old Canada Day classic.
Yeah,
American Pie.
What was the bad joke that I rolled my eyes?
Something
pretty
about
hard?
the rocks.
He said something.
We're gonna rock,
He said
not
something
those
rocks, not those rocks though. Like, ugh, come on.
Did you get it though? Maybe you didn't get the joke. Because
maybe
the joke was that we were at the Hopewell Rocks,
right,
and he
right.
was he was like doing a callback.
You know, I just wanted to get up there and talk about my penis for 10 minutes.
I know.
I think that
You
would have
love
really
talking
that
about
would have
your wiener.
I could have done my full hour Cool Ranch and what is it? Cigarettes
I don't
and
know.
Cool
I
Cigarettes
don't
and
remember
Cool
what
Ranch.
it's called.
Cigarettes and Cool
I'm
Ranch.
not allowed down in the basement when you're practicing.
I did those when you
I have
weren't
to
home.
pay my $5 like everybody else.
Yeah.
Even though I lived through half of this stuff.
I don't think this one has anything with you in it.
You come home to me in part of the bit, I think.
Oh, yeah. The old...
Yeah, don't say it. I don't want you to say it. I don't want you to say it.
Why not?
Because
it's delightful.
they'll have to come to the show to hear.
It's true. Or
what
they'll
I
have
don't
to
want.
have seen me
do the
many
same
times
bit
that I've done
50
it
times.
for the last 7 years.
Great.
Old bit.
Fresh content.
That's the title track. Old 7-year bit.
Old bit.
Fits in. It's in a new context, though.
Wonderful.
It's part of the 25-minute stripper opus.
That's
that
great.
combines all of the stripper material.
Dear.
Anyway, it's delightful. So we went down. We saw some rocks.
What else did I like?
Where you? What
didn't
did
see
you
any
think of
animals.
the rocks?
I liked them. They
They
had
were-
good energy.
They were sticking up.
Yeah, they sure were.
Were they shaped like an ET and a dinosaur and a grandmother and what was the other one?
I forget.
We saw a bumper sticker
An
or
elephant.
something in the gift shop that.
And it was a mother-in-law, not a grandmother.
Oh, right.
It's shaped like an ET.
Yeah. Well, I guess all of them could, in theory, be an ET from
Yeah,
some
you don't
planet
know where
somewhere
from.
that is shaped, that has life forms shaped like Hopewell
Like
Rocks.
rocks. You don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. There weren't any animals there.
Why
Usually,
were you expecting animals to be
well, I
there?
don't know, like a squirrel
Oh, okay. Just like woodland
yeah.
creatures, not like an official.
or a bird. I don't even think I saw a bird. Usually, if there's an animal, it just like
We saw
Ups
some
it
stuffed
100%.
mooses. Some stuffed
they were
mooses
good.
wearing plaid shirts.
they weren't real moose. They were
I think
cute
it's meese.
ones. No, it's moose.
No? Okay.
Yeah, it's still the same.
What was the moose's name?
Roxwell.
Roxwell? Okay. That's,
Rockwell? Roxwell.
Yeah, I think it was Roxwell
Yeah.
with an X.
But they all had the same name. There was 3 of them, and they all had that on their little vest.
Well, it's like how George Foreman names all of his kids George.
Oh.
There's
Oh,
Roxwell
yeah.
Senior, and he named all of the other ones Roxwell also. What'd you
That's
think of
weird.
that hot gift shop?
I liked it. There was a lot of tchotchkes in there that I'm into. Crystals.
A lot of nonsense.
You know, I like a good crystal.
What were the energy pyramids?
Orgone batteries.
They weren't even labeled.
No, they weren't, but I knew what
only
they
you
were.
know. You should have stood there and explained to people what they were.
Nope, wasn't going to do
This
that.
is not a $25 paperweight.
This is an Orgone.
You'd think that they would add
pyramid.
in the energy battery thing.
It is
as
an energy battery.
as an extra selling point.
I'm going to make one.
I
for
can't.
our
I
house.
can't imagine that. I'm like, oh hey, it's a plastic pyramid with some copper
It's made of
wires
resin.
and some doodads in there.
Gold. There's gold in it.
Is there?
Yeah. Some
Okay.
stones. It's good.
A little Hopewell rock shavings, maybe?
Oh, maybe.
Probably not.
No, there definitely wasn't.
No, and when we were waiting for the
Oh, God.
waiting for the what's the
Shuttle.
shuttle back up, some old man and a kid just butt in front of us, and I'm like, I am not going to stand for this. So I was
Not
like,
on this, our most holy day.
that's right. I said, there's a line, and then he turned around like, what? Like, we're with them. And he was just joining up with the rest of his family.
Yeah.
And then May made awkward small talk with him to cancel out my rudeness.
Well, he kind of started
Yeah,
it.
yeah, he did.
I think he was embarrassed, and
Yeah,
he
he was
started.
feeling- he was- yeah, he
and
was
showed me his
feeling
muddy shoes.
yeah,
and then-
yeah, you wore like canvas loafers to a wet
Yeah.
beach in the rain when
And
the tide just had gone out.
And I can talk with anybody because I like to have a little slice of life interaction.
He made note of I was wearing full-on rubber boots. May had her duckies on, and he was like, "Oh, well, I'd never been here before." Like, he just seemed shocked
He
that
thought we were pros.
We had also not been there, as if the only way that you would know to wear rubber boots would be if you've been to the Hopewell Rocks before.
To be fair, maybe they're not even from Canada, or maybe they're from
one
the
of those
interior.
places that doesn't have wet dirt.
Yeah, the whole middle of Canada.
We have
John, are you being serious?
We have seen wet dirt before, so in that sense, we are experts.
You're so like.
What?
You're so sure of. You're just so smug about things and so sure of yourself, but you'd say such ridiculous things with confidence.
Well, I still think he should have waited and met up with his family after.
My favorite part of that was
the shuttle.
They filled the shuttle up.
If
there was only 2 seats left.
Wasn't for those 2 seats, we would have got on 5 minutes earlier.
5. It was like 90 seconds.
Well,
and we get to sit on the back of the next one.
Yeah,
I didn't feel safe on the way back up, but I didn't want to say anything because I didn't take my backpack off, so I wasn't sitting back the whole way. And those shuttles were just giving her.
I was wondering what if I didn't want to take out my phone in case I dropped it, and if I lost a boot, like they probably would have stopped if we had asked them. But
if they knew it happened, he might not have been able to hear us.
We have voices,
and then there's a little placard that says, "Falling may cause injury or death."
I don't know if you would die. Maybe if a baby fell off.
Yeah.
Are you a baby?
I'm a big baby.
You're my baby.
Aw. That's weird, but it's nice.
Yeah, it's great. So it was a lovely day. We came back. We went to some other craft store that had all the same garbage in it. That was something.
Yeah, I didn't like that. No, it didn't. That was...
Yeah, it was still a bunch of nonsense. How much of the indigenous art do you think was made by actual indigenous
0%.
people? And having profits going to...
Yeah, none.
No.
Oh, brutal.
White ladies making dream catchers.
Oh, don't.
Well, we didn't buy any.
I know. I'm saying that to the ladies making them. That's not for you.
They are racists. That's the worst form of cultural... That is literally cultural appropriation.
Yeah, it is.
That's the one I'll stand for. They're actually...
It is. You shouldn't profit off other people's treasures like that.
All right. Well, why don't you tell us? Let's change gears. Can you tell us about
please.
the song that you've selected for this evening?
I selected a song from Canada.
Great. That's what they all are. Do you want to be more specific?
This is a band called The Unicorns, and this I actually really like. They only have one album out as far as I know. They're from Montreal, and this song was sent to me back in the days of MSN Messenger.
Yeah.
Someone sent it to me.
All right. Well, let's hear it after this.
It's a good song.
Brief message
from
a professional radio broadcaster.
Community boy. You can put whatever slant on it you like, but if you want to say your name and that you're listening to 107.3 local FM. Community boy.
Go for a swim, but I don't get wet. I don't care about
Are you looking for a way to meet writers, poets, and spoken word media makers? Local 107.3 FM's Spoken Word Collective can help you do that and more. With support from Local FM's radio resources, our Spoken Word Collective is an opportunity to get involved in everything from radio dramas to workshops and even collaboration. If you're interested and want to learn more, head over to swc.localfm.ca.
I want to be on a radio drama.
Yeah, okay. There's a guy doing them.
I know, I should. I was making a face, but I think it would actually be fun.
Yeah, I can make that happen. I can put you in touch with the guy. I was gonna do it too, but I just whenever he sent out the email with the scripts was busy times. So
what do I have to do?
You have to
be dramatic,
be alive.
Okay, yeah.
You have to be able to make words with your mouth.
Okay, yeah.
And probably read a script.
Okay.
I think they just show up and do like a couple of read-throughs. It's probably not a huge time investment.
I'm not a great reader. I'm not saying that to be making fun. I really am not a great reader. I'd have to follow along with my finger.
They have an improv workshop on Wednesday night.
Oh, I don't.
You want to go with me?
No.
Well, that'll be a nice adventure for us.
I don't want to do that personally of my own choice.
You're supposed to say yes and. That's your first lesson.
Yeah.
Free of charge.
So, what did you think of that jazzy song?
It was pretty good.
It was nice and short, wasn't it? I have a complex from like 3 radio shows ago when I played the Animal Collective song and you whipped it off halfway through because you said it was too long.
What?
And was
that on H to the C?
No, it was on this show. And
how long was it?
I think it was 7 minutes long.
That's pretty
6
long.
minutes long. Yeah, I agree, and I hadn't really thought about it before. But you 5,000% have played 7-minute long songs since then.
Not when I had somebody else.
And they're
in the
crappy
room.
songs that I skip.
I have not played the 7-minute long song unless maybe when I'm doing a solo show. I don't like to take away the time from the guests.
Yes, you do. You talk over them all the time.
No. This is St. John Forward Radio, not St. whoever the hell's sitting across from me radio. You're all just sounding boards for me.
It's supposed to be your guest is talking.
All right, we'll talk. What do you got to say, Miss Radio Darling?
I've already said it all now.
My original plan for the show was to get your side of our
I
origin
did that
story.
last year.
I know. I was getting there.
Oh,
so botched plan.
Gross.
So what angle on St. John's #1 relationship should we get into?
I was gonna talk about. I remember us going to Taco Bell together.
Okay.
And
I don't remember this.
No, it was like, I don't think we were dating yet. It was like shortly before.
Mm-hmm.
And we were still like razzing each other. And then we went again shortly after we started dating. And you said that it was nice that we don't have to be fake mean to each other anymore. And I missed, I don't know what happened to that.
Hey, I think that has been cut down.
I'm starved for affection.
Hey, I think.
Let it be known.
Probably
I'm
long
calling
after.
you out.
Long
this
after.
This is a gotcha interview.
Oh man, I'm editing this out for the podcast. I think I'm better than I was for the
better.
uncomfortable meanness. I think there was probably a solid year or two where probably every night I was calling you fat and ugly for no good reason.
Yeah, you were.
I don't know what that was about. Do you think it was negging or just, I don't know?
I don't know. I think there's just something wrong with you.
Probably. What do you think?
Wiping his eyes.
I know, I'm crying.
Good, you should be.
You really got me.
Good.
What do you think, my problem is?
I think that you didn't have a lot of affection as a child.
Yeah, that's probably true.
There's some emotion repression in your family, and I think that
I did have a pickle jar thrown at me once. Does that count?
I mean, that'd do it. I think that Well, I guess that's the other reason why we kind of work out well, because I don't really have a motherly instinct. I never wanted to be a mother, and you never were babied, I don't think. So I think that's kind of why it works out good. You're very independent, and I'm a mess, so.
You still take care of me when I need it.
Yeah, but that's because we're partners. We're a team, man.
Yeah, it's not as bad. I've seen the weird mommy dynamic in other relationships.
Oh yeah, we
seen.
have. We've had a good chuckle at that.
Yeah, I without naming any names, I had a friend of mine that once we were. Oh
my god, I already know what you're gonna say before you even say it.
I think we were having a big old 420 burn one day. That's right. And he was just talking about. He's like, and the worst part of he lived in a dorm, I think, in university in residence. He's like the worst thing about living alone is, like, I was thinking, like, well, I've never really lived alone. I went right from Dad's house into May's house. But so, like, in the instance I was thinking about it, like, what would you think, or like would be the worst? Have you ever lived alone? You haven't either.
Not really.
What do you think the worst parts of living
I already know
alone
the answer to the story, but
yeah,
I'll say
what's your actual one? The one I got was ridiculous.
I think the worst parts would be, like, finances would be bad. I think normal people would get lonely. I kind of like being by myself sometimes, but yeah, so I would think it'd be hard just to... It's easier for the two of us to exist together.
Yeah.
Help each other, feed each other. You know?
Yeah, I was thinking, like, the loneliness or something, and just, like, if something good or bad happens to you throughout the day, just coming home to an empty room and having no one to share it with. I was kind of lonely at Dad's house.
Aww.
Like, I don't know, we didn't have a lot of conversations, so I'd just go home and be like, why don't girls like me? And but the answer that this gentleman gave me was the worst part of living alone was when you were sick, there was nobody to take care of you, which I guess, now I'm saying it out loud, doesn't sound that bad. But what he meant was like
mom.
Like somebody to, like, suck to and, like, make you chicken noodle soup, which is, I guess, a nice thing, but, like,
I don't think
if you're a grown man, sick, like, no, it's nice to have somebody who's willing.
I went to the store for you.
It's good. And I went and I got you some Pedialyte last time
when I
got you sick.
Having issues.
But I mean, like, it's not fun being sick alone. Like when I was in Moncton and all of a sudden got
that makes
in a hotel
really
room
sad.
and got violently ill. But I survived the night. I wouldn't say that alone is like, man, I got to get me a roommate.
I gotta get me a mommy
girlfriend. If that was the same
girlfriend.
thing, like,
yikes.
Yeah, so just somebody to kind of suck hole to, which I don't know, I don't do that, but that's weird. Do I?
Sometimes you sulk if you have a bad show, which is fine, because I sulk about stuff too.
Yeah, well, my sulking isn't, like, I don't feel like I'm putting that on you.
No.
Like, make me feel better. It's mostly just I'm feeling sorry for myself. I'll be over it tomorrow.
Sometimes you do the opposite. When I am feeling sorry for myself, you don't want to just let me sulk, and you're like, well, here's what you gotta do. You're gonna get up and you're gonna go talk to this person, and it's gonna be fine because you're the smartest. Which is really nice, but also sometimes I just want to feel bad for a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think I've done that lately. I think I learned the lesson.
I think you're doing pretty
just
good.
Like, okay, arm around
Sometimes that's all I need. And it was kind of funny when I told you, what were we doing? I had to drive somewhere by myself. And anyone listening, like, I do not like driving by myself. I get really nervous. And
I've forced her to be an independent woman.
I hate it.
Get her driving license. Mostly to
and I was
avoid
telling
going
you,
shopping.
I was telling you what I was anxious about, and I prefaced it by saying, I know this is a dumb thing and silly and not going to happen, but here is the thing that I'm worried about. And then you were still kind of like, oh, well, that's not going to happen. And I was like, well, I know, but I'm telling you to get it out.
What's the thing?
You know what I'm most often anxious about is that I'm not going to be able to find somewhere to park and that I'm going to get the car stuck somewhere. And I'll tell you something. That day that I had to go to Dungeon Deals and look for that hair straightener and it was blocked around back.
Dungeon Deals on Bayside Drive?
Yeah, it's not there anymore. Because I didn't want to. I wanted to go get the thing. Oh, okay. We were going out somewhere. So I only had like we had to go to D&D that night, I think.
All right.
And if you don't get it at the time, they only get so many. And
Dungeon Deals before Dungeons & Dragons.
Yeah. And it was literally like my worst nightmare of I got in and then it was a really tight turnaround because usually you can just go through, but there were all these like transport trucks parked there and I had to back out, like almost doing like a 90-degree turn backing out. And it was really awful. Hated it. And I'm always thinking like about that. And then one time when I drove to my exam in Moncton, I couldn't figure out the parking thing. But then it was Saturday, so it was turned off.
A parking lot in a university?
No, the ticket thing.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't figure it out. And it was turned off, and I didn't know if it was out of order. And then everyone was speaking French, and I was trying to speak French to them, and I'm not very good at it. It was terrible. It was the worst day of my life.
Oh, I can imagine. This is...
And tomorrow, I have to drive to America and do an interview for my Nexus card, and John won't go with me, everyone. Call in and tell him that he's being mean.
Yeah, she wants me to drive an hour each way to sit in the car.
Isn't that awful? What an awful person I am. I've definitely never sat anywhere.
I have never brought you anywhere to sit in the car for 4 hours.
I sat at that open mic comedy thing for 4 hours in Portland.
You didn't have to.
I've been saving that up. I didn't have to.
And at least you got to experience the joy.
That was terrible.
100 stand-up comedians.
It was literally 100. If people
it was like
think
57.
Yeah, but times that by everyone had 3 minutes.
Yeah, no, you're right. I
was mad, and I was trying not to be mad.
I was feeling bad that with all the plight of the indigenous people being talked about on the radio station today, now I feel like we're contributing. May gets stressed out going to park a car. It's about the same.
John, stop it.
All right, let's take a musical break. Let's go with some headstones with Teeth and Tissue on St. John Forward Radio.
Spending time in abandoned hotels where that's where I went just to hammer it out, and there's little left in me here but teeth and tissue. It's so hard to be cautious when you swim this close to the bottom. Are we collectors ourselves and abuse? You said you would, and then you wouldn't. Maybe you tried, but you just couldn't. There's nothing left to me, yeah, but teeth and tissue. Teeth and tissue. Teeth and tissue. Teeth and tissue. We all got problems, I got problems of my own, and I choose to solve them by setting them afloat. I just seem to feel better when they're out of you. You said you would, and then you wouldn't. Maybe you tried, but you just couldn't. There's nothing left of us, dear, but teeth and tissue. That teeth and tissue. The teeth and tissue. Sometimes I wonder if I'll ever come up. The lines were twisted and the mask came off. Sometimes I wonder if I'll ever come up. Come up, come up, come up, come up, come up, come up, come up.
And here we are
Go-
on St.
go
John
up.
Forward Radio. What do you think that we're doing right? I think we're doing pretty well.
What do you think?
What are you think we're doing per good?
Who, me and you?
Yeah.
I think
On our 13th anniversary.
I think we communicate very well. I've never called you any kind of a cruel name out of anger because I've never felt that way.
Have I done that?
No.
I think maybe jokingly, but...
Oh, yeah. You definitely... But you've never... I don't
Not
think
in
you've ever
anger.
called me a name out of anger. You're very supportive of me becoming a more independent person. You encouraged me to go to school and to do the stuff I like to do. You encouraged me to do my hobbies instead of making fun of me for them.
Well, there is an ulterior motive for all that. The more stuff that you can do on your own, the less I need to be bothered with.
Well, that's fine.
You can drive yourself to the mall. You can make your own money.
I've gotten really good at
I don't need to pay
entertaining
attention
myself.
to you if you're knitting.
No, it's true. You sure don't.
Yeah, no, I
What do you think we
that's
do
good.
right?
I think just being our own separate people.
Yeah.
While also kind of being there for each
Mhm.
other as
Hey,
needed.
listen. Everyone out there, have separate bank accounts.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a big thing.
Yeah.
Anybody that I've ever met who has a shared bank account, it has never, ever, ever gone well.
Disaster. Have your own bank account. Keep your own independence.
Yeah, because I don't want to have to. I've got no reason to get pissy if you go out and buy some dumb rock, because it's your own money.
None of my rocks are dumb.
Okay, I don't have to get pissy if you go out and buy an awesome energy-filled
Beautiful
Euphoralytic
crystal.
rock.
Yes, Euphoralytic crystals.
And I don't need to ask your permission if I want to go out and buy something stupid.
You don't really buy stupid stuff. You're pretty miserly with your money.
I don't know. So I spent a bunch of money on a bike a couple of weeks ago.
How is that a stupid...
Well, I don't know. It's an expensive thing that most people would have to ask permission to get.
I suppose you're right, yeah.
Or
see,
like
the
an
thing is,
$80 video game or
oh, yeah, that doesn't
something.
bother me at all. If you
Comic books.
Yeah, but see, we're taking care of our joint responsibilities.
Yeah, we each pay our end of the bills,
Mhm.
which has been determined using
Proportionally.
Yeah, well, it's been years.
Because John is Uncle Moneybags. Yeah, but I don't want to redo it in case I have to pay more, because I barely can afford it now.
Well, if we redid it, what if I end up paying more?
I don't know, because then I'll feel like I'm a kept lady, and I don't like that either.
Yeah, well, I make
I'm
more
paying
money
what I
now
can
than-
afford.
I think we're both making more money than when we first figured that out. And
Oh,
there's
for
and
sure we
there's
are,
other
yeah.
stuff like I usually pay for the movies when we
Yeah,
go and
you buy me little treats and stuff.
and
stuff.
bought you some New York crystals.
You did.
The bismuth isn't technically a crystal.
It's a man-assisted element.
It's a chunk of metal in a nice
It's-
pattern.
To learn more, listen to the next episode of the So We Started a Cult podcast.
Also available on Podbean.
Mm-hmm. Where I
Um,
talk about my bismuth stone.
Yeah, and I buy us the Chef's Plate box every
Mhm.
week.
You buy the Netflix.
Yeah,
And the
Netflix,
Spotify.
And the Spotify was a Christmas present.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Although for the year, so
Yeah,
technically
so
I
now
should
it's
just write it down
freebie.
on a piece of paper every year. More Spotify, you're welcome. An extra $5 a month.
That's a good present. I like Spotify.
Yeah, it is. Has your and that was also for my own selfish reasons because I got tired of listening
That's okay.
to what's
Pulp?
Yeah, that's the one. Over
Yeah,
and
but
over
now
and
I still
over
just
again.
listen to Pulp on Spotify.
I think your musical taste has broadened slightly.
Do you
or
like
at
my
least,
new tunes?
No, but at least they're different. It's not the same one over and over again.
Are there any Pulp songs that you think you could sing the words to?
Like without the sheet in front of me?
Yeah.
Or from memory?
If the music was on, do you think you could sing any of them from memory?
Maybe Common People, but mostly because of the
everybody
William
can sing
Shatner
that.
version.
Yeah.
I've heard that one more than the actual one.
God, Pulp is such a good band.
I don't think so.
Friggin' best.
But yeah, I think, and you know, I was talking to Tarif about this, and when we were in New York, to Arif.
Oh, I thought you said Tarif.
No, yeah,
Talking
we
to
need
Tarif.
Just, I don't know. I don't feel distrustful of you, and I don't feel like I'm not trust. Like, just
I've never mistrusted
the idea
you.
of people being worried about their partners snooping around on their phone and stuff.
Oh my God! Yeah, I can't think of anything I wouldn't want you to see. To be honest.
Yeah, I don't have anything to hide. You'll just hear about all my dirty deeds on stage.
Yeah,
anyway.
exactly.
Do you think the comedy thing has made things better or worse? There's probably pros and cons. I don't know if I'd be as self-reflective and communicating if I wasn't doing
think
that.
part's good.
Probably makes me a little more selfish than I would have been otherwise.
You're very fixated on it, but I think that's because of other issues I suspect you deal with.
Awesomeness?
Yep.
Being an artistic genius?
Yeah. You really like stand-up comedy, John. You really like it, and I feel that sometimes I'm better now because I'm more I stand up for myself more than I used to, but I feel in the past a lot of my social life and free time was based around your comedy, and it kind of is sometimes still.
Yeah, I don't think I ever made you go to the shows.
No, it's not even just a deal of making me go. And you do ask, like, oh, I'm going to do a show this weekend. Do you mind? And like, no, I don't mind. But it would be nice. Sometimes you plan, like, there's 2 weekends every month of my life where I know this night you're just not going to do it. And, I mean, I don't know. I guess I've just adapted. I think some people would get really fed up with that, but I just kind of figure I know that you like to do it, so.
Well, it's 90% of the time it would just be doing a show instead of Netflix and chilling.
Yeah, so that's why I don't get pissy about it, you know what I mean? Like, I just have my own thing, and I think when some people get mad about that, they're getting mad at the idea of it.
Sorry,
what are you doing?
I'm just telling you that we're
almost done. Okay, I didn't know
wire.
if I wasn't being loud enough. I'm watching my clock. I got it.
Yeah, no, your clock doesn't necessarily match up with that.
Well,
one.
listen. All right, then.
All right. Anyway,
you go.
That's it. We've got Uptown Comedy Deluxe on Friday, July 3rd. No, 5th. Whatever, the Friday. John Scove Nielsen's headlining. Shand is hosting. Eric Chason's on it. I'll be on there too. And May's podcast. So we started
a cult. That's just the name. Look up hashtag EUPHORALYTIC to find out more.
And that's the show. And we've got a Canada Day special surprise. We've got some Big Sugar featuring Bill Hicks.
Oh, what?
I was over in Australia and I was, are you proud to be an American? I was like, I didn't have a lot to do with it, you know. My parents fucked there, that's about all. I was in the spirit realm at that time. So, fucking perish, but they couldn't hear me because I didn't have a mouth. I was a spirit without lungs or a mouth or vocal cords. They fucked here. Okay, I'm hate patriotism. I can't stand it. It's so fucking sick. It's a round world basketball show. You know what I mean? I hate patriotism. In fact, that's how we can stop patriotism, I think. Instead of putting stars and stripes on our flags, we should put pictures of our parents fucking. Gather people around that flag and see your dad hunched over your mom's big 4x4 butt. See if any booty rally mentality can circle around that little fucking image. God damn, I'm out of here. Fuck it. Get your mom, shut up. Let's go garden.